Look what I found. Can we take it out? No.
No.
Right, so we've got a Bren gun. Basically, Bren gun used by the British Army. It's a 303 caliber light machine gun, and it's designed to be portable, used by infantry. It's fires a full-size 303 cartridge, and it is, you know, a light machine gun. It's unlike some other similar machine guns, like the German MG34 or the MG42 or some others as well. I think the Americans had the 30 caliber machine gun. These were belt fed, so in other words your ammunition was on a long string belt.
Wasn't some of the barrels water cooled?
Early ones, yeah. You're
Early ones, yeah.
The Vickers K.
That's probably World War One.
World War One.
Yeah, yeah.
But obviously by World War Two, then we've just basically got an air-cooled barrel, and the barrel is removable. I'm not going to attempt it on this one, but this handle is,
oh yeah, so you can,
yeah, because eventually the barrel would need removing for cleaning and stuff, and there's only so many rounds you can put down a barrel, you know, and before it wears out.
yeah,
So you can change the barrel, and obviously got this carrying handle. That lever there is I think this is a deactivated weapon, so basically it's been rendered impossible to ever fire a live round out, or any round out of it at all. But that's been welded up there, and 30 round box magazine, as you can see there in the box. Look,
quite a few there.
Quite a few there. Okay, so it would have been loaded in advance, obviously, and we've got the magazine. Now with the Bren gun, one of the things about it is, like, basic principle of a machine gun is you've got this bolt, okay, it's sprung loaded, and basically you pull the bolt back, and when there's a magazine inside inserted into the weapon, you then pull the trigger, and what it does, the bolt moves forward, chambers around, and at the same time it fires around. The explosion pushes the bullet down the barrel, which leaves the barrel, and the recoil, obviously recoil being the fact that they're equal and opposite reactions, when the handle flies backwards, okay, catches. Now obviously when the cocking handle, well, when the bolt is drawn backwards, it extracts the empty casing, and then obviously if the trigger is released, then it stops, ready to fire the next round. But if you keep the trigger depressed, you get this reciprocating action, which allows the weapon to basically keep firing,
basically reloading itself automatically,
and using the gas from the blowback of the round going off, catching some of the gas, and it uses a funny kind of like piston which is inside here, captures the gas from the round going off, and uses that to force the bolt backwards again, so it's reciprocating all the time.
Yeah.
And obviously with the Bren gun, it's a bit of an oddball weapon really, because unlike a lot of conventional rifles and weapons, you've got the gun sight runs right down the middle of the weapon.
So it's offset.
This is offset.
Yeah. So you can see.
You've got this great big magazine.
Yeah, it's right in the way, isn't it? Compared to likes of the Lee Enfield.
That's right. Yeah, basically. So you've got this great big, you know, magazine here. Now that was really a limiting factor with the Bren gun, because it was only a 30 round magazine.
Yeah.
Basically. But you know, it's getting, you know, it's a slower rate of fire compared to some other machine guns.
Yeah.
I mean, its accuracy is pretty similar. It's pretty good actually, and it fires short bursts. If that's how you would fire it, it'd be dun 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 dun, rather than a continuous
bang 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 bang.
Automatic fire.
Yeah.
Because you would run out of ammunition pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
So you would need a few of these near you. Well, those actually, isn't it?
That's
Those.
right,
Yeah.
And the ammunition was actually quite, these magazines were actually quite bulky to carry around though. Obviously a Bren gunner would carry up to, was it
4 or 5?
4 or 5, or you know, maybe even 6, depending in pouches.
Yeah.
But very, you know, very difficult to actually, or heavy
Yeah,
going.
yeah, definitely.
And then you've got the, you know, you've got the box magazine, and then of course, you know, not really something you want to be firing from the hip.
No, of course not. You'd have to get it on the ground, hence the tripod.
The bipod on the end there, yeah, the bipod. And obviously you could, you know, rest that on a wall or whatever, or, you know, but designed to give you good, sort of like stable platform.
Yeah.
Better off really using it in the prone position, with the butt into your shoulder, looking down the range.
Whoops.
Really. So
I've been shot. Ah. Sorry. Ah.
So
Magic, eh?
good firearms practice is usually when the weapon's not using, it's not loaded, and the magazine is, you know, unless you're about to fire the weapon, the magazine is removed. You've got this magazine cover here, which I don't know if it will.
Yeah, does it slide down, does it?
Yeah, it's a dirt cover basically.
Oh yeah, so
I'm
no
not going
muck.
to force it because I don't want it to
Yeah,
jam in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But then you can see the bolt in there. So obviously got the cocking handle on the side. So when you open the bolt, and inside there is the chamber, and each time the bolt comes forward, it takes a round out of the magazine, chambers it, and instantly you get the bang, you know, you get the explosion of the round going off, and then the gases force the bolt back again, which withdraws it, and then of course, you know, pulling the trigger. It's basically our principle of how most automatic firearms, how they work, like.
Yeah.
But there's also a select fire switch on the Bren gun as well. So you've got,
Is it full
you've
automatic
got
or just short burst?
safe, so
Oh yeah.
automatic, and you've got a single shot basically. So with the weapon cocked, you've got the safety.
Yeah.
Okay, so the safety catch is on there. You can pull the trigger as much as you want, it's not going to
Nothing's
fire,
going to go.
but obviously what it is, it's like a sear on the bolt that catches it. So you can fire 1 or 2 rounds at a time, depending on which setting it's on. Okay, so that's safe. You've got A, I'm guessing, is automatic there, and of course repeat, that's what it stands for. Yeah, so at the moment in that position you could pull the trigger and it would only fire 1 at a time.
Yeah.
But then if the enemy's getting a bit close to you and you're a bit worried and you want to give them a good old peppering,
Fully auto.
automatic, yeah. But like I said, the British Army were very sort of like, you know, not fanatical but insistent on using ammunition wisely.
Yeah,
So obviously,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
spraying your enemy with 30 rounds at a long range is not really going to help. It's just going to waste your ammunition.
That's right. Yeah.
So firing in the automatic was like, you know, what do you call it? Dots and dribs, 1s and 2s.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
Rather than a big spray.
you
of,
keep a lot of ammo,
yeah.
so therefore you're right for
Yeah.
to destroy the
That's
enemy.
it. It actually looks like, yeah, this one's dated 45.
All right.
So this
it
one's
might have seen
45.
active service, mightn't
Yeah,
it?
but I mean,
You know.
to relieve any panic as well, you've got this certificate here on the end of it.
Oh yeah.
It's to certify that this has been deactivated.
Deactivated, folks.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
been worked on by a gunsmith, and it will never ever fire a live round. It's just
Yeah. Well, these days we've got to make sure that is.
a great big paperweight.
Yeah. But what a good one, eh?
Yeah, but it's a fun paperweight as well.
Yeah.
So just put the magazine back in, and you know, I couldn't remember as well. You'll be about to come up for your turn on the firing range, and there we go. Start off properly. Look how it would be. So you got your weapons there, right? So down, test and adjust. You'd be there, like that. Okay. Get the cocking handle out the way. And you'd be there. Detail. No, first of all, 5-10 rounds grouping at the target in front. Detail, ready. So you would load. Right. So it would be, yeah, then there would be the instruction. 10 rounds grouping at the target in front. In your own time, carry on. Then it would be detail, ready. In your own time, carry on. And then it would be and then it'll be when you finish, has anybody not finished? And if anybody's got any stoppages or any you know, rounds up the spout or you know, jams, now's the time to say. And okay, it'll be detail, unload. So the first thing you do, put the safety catch on, magazine out, and then it will be for inspection, port arms. So basically you want the range officer wants to know that there aren't any rounds in the chamber and the magazine's removed, and everybody's squeezed off the correct amount of ammunition. So there we go. So for inspection, port arms, that means the range officer walks up and down and he checks each weapon one at a time to make sure there's no rounds in the casing, no rounds up the spout, and you know, if you've got anything left there, you leave it alone there, yeah? And that's it. So you leave it there with the safety catch on and bolt open, and then you would get up and, like we did earlier, do your declaration. You know, so
Magic.
just something that sort of like gets ingrained in you.
Oh yeah, it would do if you're doing it day in, day out, day in, day out.
You know, just basically what do you call it? I think the army call it, they call it NSPs, normal safety precautions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many years ago for me anyway, but I can still remember a bit of it. And
yeah, we did do air rifle shooting, but nothing like this.
But yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. And
Magic.
also as well, you would also be taught how to look after the weapon as well. So in other words, how to field strip it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it would need stripping down and
cleaning
and oiling as well.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
And also dealing with things like stoppages where sometimes you pull the trigger, nothing happens, a round gets chambered, and it's maybe jammed in the chamber, or maybe it's like, you know, you've got some kind of feed issue with the weapon where it won't feed the ammunition properly. But all in all, it's you know, something that the soldier would have to deal with, and obviously in World War II, in any conflict, you'd have to deal with it in the battlefield by yourself, pretty much. But,
yeah, you've got to be self-sufficient.
Yeah. But it's just worth pointing out as well that the Bren gun didn't altogether disappear after World War II, because it was worked on. I think it was updated and modified, and the caliber was changed from 303 to 7.62, which was obviously the NATO caliber introduced in the
Is that
60s.
a bit smaller than 303?
Slightly, but obviously I think 303 is you know, it's an imperial measurement, whereas you've got 7.62 is a metric measurement. And 7.62 ammunition was designed to be the universal standard caliber for the use of all of the armies in the, you know, in the NATO alliance, basically. But the Bren gun was revived, and it was reworked slightly. Obviously, you know, rechambered, one or two bits and pieces, you know, altered, different sights, that sort of thing. And also the magazines, these old curved World War II magazines, they were disposed of, and they obviously had a later one. The LMG had a great big straight magazine, I think of a larger capacity, still fed the same way, but obviously, you know, rather than the curved magazine, it was a big straight one. And, I think the LMG was you know, a well-liked weapon, but it was also quite heavy still. It was still quite a heavy thing to lug around.
Right.
What replaced the LMG was something, the modern thing, which is a derivative of the SA-80, which was known as the LSW, the light support weapon, supposedly. And it was basically an SA-80 with a slightly longer barrel and a bipod in the end.
Right.
Still kind of limited it really with the box-fed magazines. Now there's something ultra modern, I think, that's replaced it now. Something, is it called the Mini Me? It's basically a dual-purpose light machine gun. I think it's magazine-fed and also capable to be belt-fed as well. It's some European thing, but
yeah,
all a bit too modern to be interested in.
Yeah.
But,
magic.
Yeah.
Well, that was a brilliant bit of description about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Action.
Right, just trying to figure out if I can... Does the bolt open on this one?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, is it new spec, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, right, so we've got the World War One SMLE, short muzzled Lee Enfield. Oh, wow. Look, okay. That's awesome.
That's another SMLE, but it's been modified for in wartime production for a sight, so it carries a sight. It's still military stock, so it hasn't been sporterized.
That was for the scope, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what year is this one? Is it similar age to that one?
Yeah.
That's 1913 dated, I think, that one.
Right.
Because that's something I was going to say to you when I noticed you firing it earlier. I noticed you were removing the magazine to load the ammunition, and obviously that makes sense now.
Yeah, because it won't take a stripper clip.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we've got the SMLE. Okay, it was basically World War One Lee Enfield rifle. This thing was the mainstay of the infantryman, the British infantryman. It's .303 caliber, and it is an extremely accurate bolt action rifle. We've got a detachable box magazine there of 10 rounds, I believe it is. And normally, the normal practice of loading your rifle would be the magazine would stay inserted in the rifle, and as similar to this rifle, we can't open the bolt on this one, but when you would open the bolt there, you can see you've got these guides in the top there, okay, and that's where you would insert what's called a stripper clip, which was, so you'd have
it's a piece of metal on the side which pop out, wouldn't it?
5 rounds. It's like a rail, and the cartridges, you put the stripper clip in the groove there with the bolt open, and then you push it down into the box magazine. So 2 stripper clips of 5 rounds and gives you 10 rounds. And from then on, as I said, it's a bolt action rifle, so it's single shot, and obviously very, very accurate. So you've got the bolt goes forward, so when you chamber the round, okay, then you're live in, you're ready to fire. And of course, you know, being a 303 bolt action rifle, and you know, quite a lot of recoil. I'm not going to squeeze the trigger because obviously this is a firing example, and it is actually bad to dry fire a rifle. So open the bolt. Each time you open when you've fired the weapon, you open the bolt. You can see the bolt there. As it comes backwards, it ejects the cartridge. It pulls the cartridge out of the chamber, spits it out, and then obviously when the bolt is pushed forward again, you're chambering around, ready to fire. Now obviously, you know, I can't remember the precise range of this thing, but it's, I think, possibly accurate up to, well, almost a mile possibly, and
good Lord,
extremely, you know, good weapon. And being World War One, this undoubtedly, this one's actually dated 1913.
Yeah.
So this, if this thing could talk, what would it say?
A lot of things. A lot.
And where's it been, you know, and who used it and stuff like that. But you know, I mean, the bolt action rifle was pretty much the mainstay of you know, the armies of the world in that sort of period, and you know, incredibly accurate. And with a 10 round box magazine, I think there's I remember hearing about how it was a platoon of infantry soldiers could actually produce a very, very high rate of fire with these. I mean, I can't remember all the things about how many rounds per minute and all that lot, but it's an extremely accurate bit of kit, you know, and capable of you know, a high rate of fire. But the thing with you know, the British Army was the, you know, modern things like submachine guns and things like that. They still weren't really trusted and believed in you know, when these things were around. This is what pretty much every soldier on the battlefield in World War I would have.
Do you think they would have been used in World War II as well, wouldn't they?
Oh, they were, yeah. I mean, but this is a World War I version, and obviously the World War II version of it is you know, redefined. It's shorter, it's lighter, the sights are different, and of course, you know, on this one we've got, this is a mount here for a scope. Okay? So the optical scope would be mounted on the top here and could be used for, you know, in the role of sniping, basically. Would it be a sniper rifle? Yeah. But you've got the, you know, the standard sort of like battle sight. I think they're in yards as well. So it's being a British rifle, you know, pre-decimal, it's you know, in yards. And you've also got, there is a safety catch on the rifle. So when you've chambered around, that's got the safety catch there on the back there, which does actually prevent you from accidentally firing a rifle, you know. And as I said, you know, it's just a lovely piece of kit to hold and balance. I mean, you know, with the light machine gun, you'd mainly be firing it from the prone position or resting the barrel on some sort of cover, but very well balanced rifle and a hell of a kick as well. I fired one of these live down the range, you know, with live rounds on a firing range, and it never ceases to catch you unawares when you pull the trigger, just how much of an oomph you get in your shoulder.
That's why you've got to get the butt right in your shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, the way you talk about fire is as well, is you pull it in tight to your shoulder, okay, and you just look down the sight, control your breathing, basically. That's the key to accuracy. So you breathe in deep and then slow out, and then hold your, look down the sight there. Obviously you've got this is what's called a foresight there, okay, and then you've got the muzzle sight there. So you just line them up, looking down it, and deep breath in, nice and slowly breathe out. Sights on the target and pull the trigger. Now I shouldn't have done that. That was a bit naughty, but that was just pretty much instinctively how it's done. But it's always good practice. Now obviously this rifle, we've just seen it working in a firearms demonstration, and one of the basic things about handling firearms is something that's been ingrained into me anyway, is to always, before you hand it to somebody else, open the bolt
so they can see that there's nothing in the breech.
To them that it's clear.
And it's clear.
Yeah.
Can you see that, folks?
There's nothing in there, okay? And if you pass me one of those empty casings there, okay? So now these have been previously fired, blank rounds. I've not shot them obviously, but these have been previously fired, okay? I'm just going to put that down a second. So the cartridge then, it's a 303 caliber, and it's literally, you can see with the 303 casing, the cartridge is kind of tapered, yeah. Whereas if you look at like some of the metric stuff like 7.62, they're slightly different. They tend to do away with that taper on the cartridge, and of course you've got the casing itself would be full of, you know, cordite, or, you know, which is an explosive.
Is that like a white powder?
No, cordite is like it's like little pieces of rope, you know, like little strands and stuff. The cordite, and of course then you've got the primer, which is in the centre of the cartridge.
As that's hit, it goes off, isn't it?
And that's basically, you know, the primer is a one-shot deal. Once that's been struck, it won't work again. But this is a blank round, so you can see we've got, you know,
tell by the tapered end. We found one on an airfield, didn't we? Oh, I did. That's why. No, normally what would happen is there'd be a round in the end of that, okay? And when you fired the round, all you would be left with would be just that empty casing, okay? But obviously the blank, it's, you know, blank ammunition is still dangerous, can still hurt you. And of course, I would seriously advise
always stand at least a metre away from the muzzle of a
yeah, because you get a blank blast.
And inside the cartridge you've got lots of unburned explosive and basically crud, rubbish.
Well, like what came out of that gun earlier.
Out, yeah. And if you're using a weapon that's capable of firing a live round, and like this one is, then also, you know, after firing lots of blank ammunition through it, it's recommended that you the barrel needs cleaning, because obviously then, you know, you don't want any dirt or residues in there that's likely to spike the barrel.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
yeah,
you know?
Which could damage it.
So obviously being a squaddy, using all these, you know, weapons and everything else, it's great fun. But the flip side of it is everything has to be cleaned and re-oiled and inspected again.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And, which is fair enough in it, really, because I mean.
Well, the thing is, if it's not maintained properly and you're in a battle.
Well, that's right. Your life.
It's
your life
is in the hands of that.
Depend on it. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
And you know, it's pretty terrifying to think of. Basically, you know, there must have got to be hundreds and thousands of times where a soldier has been in battle, enemies been running towards them, and all of a sudden they think they're going to defend themselves and fire the weapon, and all they get is a rather disappointing, terrifying click, and nothing happens. And you know, you may not get a chance to sort that out. But, so I'm going to leave the rifle on the ground there.
Brilliant. Thank you for that.
Open.
That was a brilliant description.
Yeah, but I'll just put that over there as well.
See you in a second, folks. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank Adam for our description of these two beautiful World War II guns. We will be back now next week with some new videos. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you then. Cheers and gone.